Thank you, Jane. And yes, talking of trauma, that game last night, my word, anybody watch it? Fantastic. The Japanese were just exceptional. Look, good morning, everybody, and welcome on behalf of the WorkCover board and WorkSafe Tasmania to the PTSD Mental Health Matters conference. I was just discussing with Jeremy, I imagine this is one of the unique situations where a conference regarding this subject has been held within a capital city, and I'm delighted that it's happening here in Tasmania because it's a subject that we at the board take very seriously. Today's conference, I hope you all are aware that this is WorkSafe Month for 2019, and this is part of the WorkSafe Month, the theme of which is Safe Bodies, Safe Minds, so a totally appropriate subject for the conference today. And of course that focuses on the need for all Tasmanian employers and workers to take positive action to maintain a healthy body and a healthy mind. While statistics reveal the total number of workplace injuries has been steadily declining, the number of mental health injuries has increased. In 2008, mental health conditions made up just 4.3% of all workplace injuries in Tasmania. 10 years on, 659 mental health conditions were reported, making up 8.5% of all workplace injuries. That's nearly double. Regrettably, the number of reported claims made for PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, as I'm sure you're all aware, has also increased. Over the last 10 years, 206 reported claims have been made. Of these, a quarter of or 49 claims, were made by public service, community and personal service workers, including ambulance officers, prison officers, police officers, firefighters, and other emergency workers. In other words, the first responders. But primary and secondary school teachers, registered nurses, social workers, care workers, service and entertainment industry workers, and general sales assistants accounted for another chunk of 65 reported PTSD claims. And what about the cost of these claims? Well, of the 206 claims, $18.97 million in compensation has been paid for 32,973 days lost. In other words, 33,000 days lost, making each PTSD injury, I'll do the maths for you, claim worth $92,100. That's compared with the state average of all other claims of $15,980. So that's $92,000 versus $16,000. A dramatic difference. The Tasmanian government has reformed the Workers' Rehabilitation and Compensation Act 1988 to include a presumption for public sector workers and volunteer first responders suffering from PTSD. In other words, the new laws will make it easier for these workers and volunteers to access workers' compensation for PTSD by reversing the onus of proof. PTSD is an occupational injury that should be treated the same as any other injury. While we have come a long way in reducing the stigma that exists around mental health conditions, we still have a long way to go. The WorkCover Board Tasmania, together with WorkSafe Tasmania, has established a number of strategies to ensure improved work health, safety and well-being outcomes are realised through effective administration of Tasmania's workers' compensation scheme, through the promotion of effective return to work practices, and through the provision of education and advice with respect to work health and safety. Mental health, just like physical health, is an important part of work health and safety. Recognising and managing risks in the workplace that may lead to physical or mental injury is an essential part of creating a safe, healthy and productive workplace, and can only have positive outcomes. And of course, it's all up to us, whether we're employers or employees, to make that difference. So thank you very much to everybody for attending. I hope you find the content interesting and you're able to get some ideas that you might like to take back to your workplace. Enjoy the conference.